Hey everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing here? It's late night. I've had this video concept on my mind for a long time. Thank you for supporting me. Subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff you're supposed to do to make me grow. But if not, I appreciate you just watching. All right. Um, the thumbnail. Ooh, biggest ever secret revealed. That's the trick for the YouTube channels and to try to get people in to watch the video. So the, I've been running around racetracks and casinos my whole life. Okay, first and foremost, and uh, I'll try to condense this video down because there might be a lot of stuff to unpack, but I'm just gonna do the basic concept and stuff according to that. So thank you folks for coming in. I hope everybody's safe and well and doing fine. All right. Um, when I was in college, business school years ago, I had a friend of mine, good kid, straight laced guy, and business smart. We were on the top of all our classes, A's, Dean's List, and everything else. I tutored him, and he made the Dean's List also. So we were close, so to speak, but then you graduate, everybody goes their own way. And years later, I'm at the track, and this friend of mine progresses up. Unbeknownst to me, he makes his way up into the New York State Lottery and Gaming Commission or organization, if you will. And he would visit he'd visit the casino, racetracks periodically throughout New York State. And one day, I'm actually outside smoking a cigarette, and he comes walking by, and we look at each other. Now we're probably 25 years older, but I relatively look the same, and he looked the same. And I went, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. So we go have a coffee and everything. And we reminisce and we catch up on each other's lives and everything. And he tells me he moved up in that gaming in New York State. And so maybe the second visit, I told him, if you come back, I'll be up at the OTB. Come on, we'll go have a coffee, blah, blah, blah. So maybe the second visit, third visit, he comes and gets me. Now we're walking. He says, let's take a walk. So he says, what do you play, Joe? I go, well, I play over there, these machines, 50 cents a spin, 88 cents a spin, blah, 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 and all that. So he says, oh, okay. So we leave that area and we go up to where the high limit is, 10, 20, 30, 40 a spin and everything else. And he says, I just told him, he says, well, you ever play any of these? I says, no, look at, I don't want to even say his name because New York is so political. And I don't even know if he's still there or not, but I do not want to say even his first name. And he says, do you know anybody, and it's like a quick hit machine. It's like a quick hit machine, but it's a 5 different spins. But if you want, you have to max bet it to get the top prize. And so I got a buddy that sends it in real good. So he more or less is saying, well, if you had some big money, you'd probably want to try this game. And that's odd of me because he wouldn't be touting anything or anything like that. He just said it in a very innocent, safe way. So I'm thinking he knows something. I'm thinking, but I just leave it at that. So my buddy plays a lot of those machines up there. So the next day I meet him, we go in, and I tell my buddy, hey, I tell him about my friend. He's going, you're nuts, Joe. You're nuts. You're nuts. Oh, yeah, you know the guy. Yeah. Whatever. Oh, my gosh, Joe, you lost your mind. So I says, well, why don't you just try it? You get blottoed anyways. Just try it. Just try it. So he refuses, and he's playing the Shadow Panther for 10, 20, or 30 a spin. And the other machine I was touting to him, I was trying to make him play, was less of a max bet. So he had enough of hearing me say that or whatever, and so I says, oh well, so I give up on it. I give up on it. So about 2 days later, I go up there. I'm waiting for him to get out of work because then he bets. We bebop around and everything. And honestly, he would help me out too and stuff and let me play and everything else because I'm not financially wealthy or stable. And so about 2 days, 3 days, I go up to see if any of the smaller jackpots, it was like the 5,000 type of progressive thing, a 10,000, and then a 70,000 maxed out grand prize, 75,000 maxed out grand prize. So I'm waiting for him, and I'm going past that high limit area, and I see the attendance up there. And there's a guy sitting there, ooh, and I go, no way. I'm gonna have a heart. I'm gonna faint. Boom, that jackpot hit. Now I'm waiting for my buddy to get out after work, and I tell him, and he was like, oh, it was just a coincidence, blah blah blah, and all that. I says, really? You don't think that the New York State Lottery and Gaming Commission knows when these jackpots are gonna be paid off? You don't think they know? You don't know. They are programmed out to take in X amount of dollars or by time, and then they took the machine right out. So, and it was a person that hit it that I never saw ever in the casino, because maybe some other people were privileged to that information, and they came to sit on that machine and spin until it hit, because they probably said it might take a day, or it might take $1,400 of action, $2,000 of action, or maybe some other type of variables. But it's on a time bomb ready to hit. So, okay, that's that story. So, but these aren't random machines. These are programmed slot machines. They're programmed slot machines. You don't think that the New York State Gaming Lottery and Gaming Commission knows when these machines are going to hit? How valuable is that information? So, now with that being said, being programmed machines, okay, let's move on to another area. Some people, they come every day for years. They never win anything substantial, not even a little jackpot progressive or anything. They never win anything ever. Defies the laws of probability and statistics, because over 365 days a year, 10 years, 20 years, that's 7,000 events. That's 7,000 days. That's a million spins if you do the math, give or take, whatever, you guys know. So they never win. How does that happen? No, I'm studied in statistics, probability, analysis of variance, which is formulas and everything, that could be implemented in various arenas of uh, marketing or just probability of things. So there's formulas that could be used in different segments of business or gaming, or however you want to use them, however you want to put them against. And so some people you just wonder why. They just happen to pick the wrong machines every day, and the second they get off it, somebody else sits down and wins, and it makes everybody crazy and nuts. It's like, well, how's that happen? And these people lose like 95% of the time. And it's not like they were ever up and made a score and then they blew it back and they just say they lose every day. No, they just never won anything substantial and blew it back. They just never won anything substantial and they just go in and lose every day for years and years and years. There's a great percentage of people that happens to. And so it makes you wonder now. I knew a slot tech, and I used to have these theories in my head. I knew a slot tech that retired, and good guy, and I knew him prior before him getting the job, and he was in the slot technician and that real smart guy, good, cool dude, and we'd have a coffee, hangouts when he was on his break and everything. So he said he was retiring and everything else. And I said, you're not held to any kind of code of secrecy or non-disclosure agreements or anything like that, or you know. And he said, no, not really. Not really. You sail off into the sunset, bye-bye. They didn't pay him enough either, but you know, those are the casinos. You go to these casinos. I just got back. If you saw my video, me and my buddy SK Goodman, we just went to the casino. We move around and everything, and they're short of staff. They're short of employees, and it's like, well, if you offer a good enough wage, you'll get quality employees. That's plain and simple. Because a casino being short of staff that's robbing millions and millions and hundreds of millions and every day, and they will stand in front of you straight-faced and say, well, we're short-staffed. Well, why don't you put $30 an hour on a job opening and you'll get some quality people? We're short-staffed, a casino. Really? What's this world coming to? So let's get back. So people close to me are computer savvy and computer geniuses and everything else. And this slot tech retires. And I says, you know what? Food for thought. The slot machines are all numbered. They're numbered. There's a number on the side of them. And I says, what if, or maybe this, maybe that. Expand your minds. Just don't conform and be in a rabbit hole. Expand your minds. What if all these numbered machines, every machine's got a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, sequential, whatever it is. And that's a fact. What if all those numbered slot machines were on a mainframe? A mainframe, or let's just say a console, if you will, that has each individual slot machine on there that you can isolate each machine and manipulate how that machine will perform. Now, is that some far-fetched theory? Is it possible that you can actually do that? Of course, that's a possibility. Of course, with computer geniuses and computer programmers, there were programmers that programmed those machines in the first place. They're programmed slot machines in the first place. So it's not a far-fetched concept if you actually thought that you could have a mainframe with all of those machines embodied into that mainframe, and you can humanly manipulate the machines. And they're on cameras. You could be upstairs on a mainframe, and you can see the people coming in, and you know their gameplay. You know how they play. You know how they gamble. You know how they bet. So that's why I'm connecting how some people never win, or then a new person will come in the first time and win something big, and it's just like, wow, a guy comes in one time, knocks it down, just flat out open ass luck, and then other people come every day for years and they just happen to miss it, and that person caught that. No, they opened up that machine for that new 20-year-old kid. They paid him a $5,000 jackpot. And now you know what happens next. He thinks it's easy, and they got a hooked gambler for life at 20 years old. They reeled him in. So you put all these situations, you put all these variables together over years and years and years as a scientist or a mathematician. And so I run this by the technician afterwards, and he goes, wow, you're more studied than I said, forget about all that. You don't even have to tell me that whether you believe me or not, because I would bet my bottom dollar between me and starvation, because they're programmed. They already admit that they're programmed machines. So of course there's got to be a council mainframe structure, even to oversee it. But with that being said, you can manipulate the payoffs. So when that machine, so when do you know they're going to manipulate those payoffs? Because the New York State Gaming and Lottery Commission has them on scheduled payouts and everything else. So then they're of course in bed with the state casinos, and they require that casino to pay that out in the next $1,000 or the next 2 days. So that all jives together. And that's why my old friend from college said, well, maybe you might want to think, because he already knew that they were going to pay that out. Why don't you, well, maybe your friend, hey, Joe, maybe your friend might want to play that at $15 a spin. Go after that 75,000. It's just not coincidence. It's just not coincidence. So there's slot machines, and everything is running rampant. And you don't think that's what's at play behind the scenes? Everybody has their own opinion. I got some swampland for you if you don't agree with me. But and the guy, I never seen my buddy again. I never seen him again. And I don't think he just wanted to come back after or whatever, just after the fact, because he thought, I would put two and two together and go, wow, that's privileged information. And how many people know that privileged information? And then all of a sudden, me and my friend doesn't play it, and there's a stranger up there. It could have been a person just coming through town. There's a face I never seen up there, but it just happened to be a stranger that hit that. Maybe my old college buddy and somebody else knew it, And then that guy beat my friend to the punch. And he came from wherever, Central New York or somewhere, and said, I'm going to go sit on that machine and camp on it for a day or how much money it takes to release that jackpot. It's already scientifically been ready to hit. That's privileged information. These are programmed slot machines that privileged people know when they're going to hit. And they have the ability to manipulate and pay a machine out or not pay a machine out on every slot machine in the building. Because if anybody's a thinker, which I don't want to insult anybody, but I've been in there more times than the chairs for years. Before it was a slots, it was a racetrack. And then it was a OTB. And then it was a racetrack, OTB, and casino, all in one. And I don't miss a trick. I watch everything, and I'm down there nonstop. So to gather this scientific information, I'm a witness to it. I'm a witness to this data, and it's just like, well, you know that if something can be programmed, of course it can be manipulated. You're talking about jackpots, 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. And who gets them and who don't get them. It's not just a random event where, oh, you just had bad luck and didn't sit on the machine at that time, and you sat on it for 9 hours, then you got up and the next player hit it while you were still in an eye shot of it. So you could be, you don't understand. The casino is already dealing with dirty hands. They're already an eyesore. Yes, people have the right, gamble responsibly and everything else. Yeah, I understand all that. But they're dirty MFs. They're dirty MFs. They're worse than Al Capone. They're worse than the Italian mafia. They're rodents. They're scum. They're scum. Because they're going to make enough money anyways. But when they get to pick and choose who wins the jackpots and who wins frequently and who doesn't, that's another story. That's another story. They're programmed slots, and you would just like to believe that you can go in and just hope that's your day, that generated spin comes up and you hit it. But you don't want to be up against these guys up in this master room and watching cameras on all the machines and who's sitting on, and then your player, they know, but they have the visual. They know who you are. They know how you bet. And they see you and have the ability to move the buttons. If you don't believe what I'm telling you, you're a sucker. Forgive me. Forgive me. If you don't believe that, or you don't believe that there could be a possibility, if you don't believe that right now, that's in current place, but if you just have a scientific mind and you say, well, they're smart enough programmers, number one, they're programmed machines. So a programmer has to program the machines, garbage in, garbage out. So you could program and manipulate the mechanical device any which way you want. And when it comes to spins or payoffs, that's a no-brainer. That's easy. That's computers 101. Computers, I know very close and personal to me that they don't even have to validate my beliefs. They're saying, oh yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. That would be nothing to do. Nothing at all. You trust casinos? You trust casinos? That's like saying you trust the dope dealer. That's like saying, yeah, it's an honorable guy. Yeah. I need 3 bags, Tom. Yeah, boy, some good dope. Yeah, boy, that Tom, he's nice, honorable guy. Yeah. The casino's a dope dealer dealing a different commodity. It's all addiction. It's all addiction. They're just like a drug dealer. And hey, people have the right to gamble, rock and roll. They gamble responsible and everything else. But let it be a fair playing field for everybody. Okay? That's all. I waited some time for this to pass because I believe my friend. I looked up in the New York State Lottery and Gaming Commission to see if I saw his name there, and it wasn't there anymore. He had moved up real high, and maybe he ventured off into some whatever. We're 60 years old now, but I didn't want to see his name on there. He'll never have watched this, but sometimes you got to have some scruples. But they wouldn't know which guy it was anyways because they had different guys coming in and out that would come in and do audits and stuff. The state casinos, they'd send, of course, common sense that the Albany, the lottery commission and stuff, come in and whatever they do with their audit or whatever those criminals do, they do. And so I wouldn't probably wouldn't have, maybe I would have done it if he was still there. Say, hey, it's too bad, bro. It's too bad. You work for the devil. I'm sorry. That's life. Just like when the guy loses his life, he loses his wife, kids, house. Well, then that's life too. I might have exposed, but I won't say his name. No. We were buddies in college, and he was always broke, and I always paid for his lunch and dinner. And that's why he wanted to turn me on to that machine, because he knew. Gonna throw me a favor from all those years. Good guy, good look, good guy. Bar none. Forget about the video, good guy. And so, I don't know if people would already have put into some people don't even care. They just want to go have a coffee, smoke a cigarette, put $100 bill in, and get sodomized by the machine. They accept it. That's all right. They can afford it or not. But people that can afford to play slots, at some point in time, they can't afford to play slots. And then it all crumbles. Then it all crumbles down. And that's their ass after that. They lose everything they have. And, but those New York State casinos, they're on a mainframe, and it's privileged information to know when they're going to pay out. And they pay out in scheduled times and or according to the money generated in there and or other variables. But there might be a handful of people at the Lottery and Gaming Commission that have that information. That's some pretty valuable information. You could send a ringer in to one of the casinos, hit the jackpot, go back to your buddy in Albany on the commission, and you could split the money up or whatever you want to do. You don't think that ever happened? I got a swampland for you, you knuckleheads. So that's it, folks. I was thinking about this late night, and I just got back from a trip. I had fun, went to a couple places. I did that video earlier, had a great time and everything. And thank you, SK, if you watched this. I appreciate you taking me under your wing and letting me be able to experience them things. So I appreciate all your support, everybody, and stay safe and stay well. And I'll be getting back to you for another video. You know how I do it. I think that I'm still able to get subscribers or something, but subscribe, share, like, and all that kind of stuff. And I thank you for your support. So stay great, everybody. And I wish you all well. Thanks a lot.